I'm Judea Murray, and here on a positive note, we highlight the most heartwarming stories from all around our tri-state that move and inspire us. And that's the exact effect this young man from the Hudson Valley has on everyone he meets. Tommy Guest has a story like no other. Just days before his high school graduation, he was shot in an apparent random shooting. Not only did he survive, but guys, he came out with an extraordinary song in his heart. This is Tommy's story.
For as long as he can remember, music has always lived inside of Tommy Guest.
Be a keyboard or piano, and I just want to play it.
Music is how this 18-year-old self-taught pianist best communicates. And it's this song, the 1964 hit House of the Rising Sun.
I always loved that song.
A sad tune about a life of hard knocks.
And it was the first song I had ever taught myself.
That is now helping this young man share his testimony. A story of sudden tragedy, struggle, and triumph.
I believe that I was given a second chance to do what I want, to continue and to stay focused.
As Tommy prepares to go off to college and start a new chapter of his life, he's still coming to terms with the plot twist in the last chapter, one that almost ended his life. June 13th was the day, and Tommy and his cousin Jared went to a party in the Bronx and stopped off to pick up some snacks on their way home.
Some Red Chips Ahoy, the soft chewy cookies, that's what I wanted to get.
And what started out so innocent quickly turned into a terrifying nightmare.
A guy comes out and starts shooting at us. I don't know who it was. I don't understand why. I don't know, but that's what happened.
The frightening scene that Tommy says was likely a case of mistaken identity captured on surveillance footage.
I don't understand the reasoning. I never did anything to anyone.
Tommy was shot in the backside.
That hurt a lot. It was like burned.
But he ran as fast as he could until he couldn't run anymore.
I started falling out. I couldn't breathe.
You were bleeding?
Yeah, I was bleeding a lot. I fell into the puddle of blood that was at my aunt's doorstep.
His injury was serious, but could have been potentially fatal had it not been for his cell phone, an unlikely shield in his back pocket.
My phone ended up basically saving my life because the bullet had hit my phone and my phone changed the trajectory. The doctor said that the bullet was expected to go upwards into my abdomen area.
But it didn't. That bullet came out of his leg.
Because I was in so much pain in the hospital, I was screaming for help.
Tommy's road to recovery has been hard and painful. 2 surgeries, 3 stays in the hospital, and the possibility he never be the same again.
There's no reason that happened, but it happens.
But he never gave up. He couldn't let his family down, and he knew graduation day was just 11 days away.
So despite all the pain you were in the hospital, you really wanted to make graduation?
Yes, I had to make it to my graduation.
Hey, Dr. Collins, don't put anybody in my spot, because I'm still coming, all right? I'm practicing.
So he practiced in the hospital even as he was relearning to walk, and the day before graduation, Tommy was released so he could walk across the stage, tell his story,
I was going to die at my aunt's doorstep,
and play his song. Months after the shooting, Tommy is still on the mend, but he insists he's not a victim.
I like to call myself a survivor, basically. I survived, and a lot of people don't.
And now he's sharing his story in hopes that it'll help others.
I think part of what you're telling me is that you want people to know that whatever happens to them, they are not the worst moment in their lives.
You have the ability to try to keep going. All you need is to persevere through, be determined, and you can really do anything.
Just don't give up, he says. Find your passion. It could just be the one thing that gives you a new lease on life. In Mount Vernon, Ty Milburn, News 12.
Tommy had his first week of college at Stony Brook University on Long Island. If this is how he responds to life's challenges, I have no doubt he's going to succeed. Children in Connecticut are also learning about the saving grace of music. These young Bridgeport musicians are learning and playing together in a free camp, and we've got all the details.
I just fell in love with it, and then I knew I wanted to play this instrument.
Keys Music is dedicated to introducing Bridgeport kids to the joy of playing together.
Music lessons of all instruments to Bridgeport kids, free of cost.
Keys director Rob Sylvan says kids' need for music goes beyond what public schools can support.
Not just for what it can do academically, but what it can contribute to healing.
After a year when Americans have been both isolated and divided, camp organizers say music gives children the tools not only to express themselves, but also to connect with one another.
All these people need to be able to listen and play together, and that creates a strong connection at the same time as it's building joy.
I'm starting to like go into the groove and stuff, and it's really fun, and it's like exciting.
Instruments range from piano to violin to Home Depot buckets.
We're learning actually a different type of drumming. African-American drumming, Brazilian drumming, Japanese drumming.
It's like a language, but it's not very hard to learn.
Keys students have been learning virtually in the COVID-19 pandemic.
It's kind of hard to learn your fingerings and stuff and make sure your wrist is not so bent and stuff because you're not in person.
Organizers say in person is where the magic happens.
And you're making this gorgeous sound, and you're part of a chord, and you're part of a continuous piece of music. That's when it really starts to happen.
A similar opportunity is being offered to children around the Bronx. It's the first ever Bronx Classical Kids Fair. Several local music organizations turned Bronx Park into a symphony with live performances and interactive workshops. There was even an instrument petting zoo where kids could discover and try out new instruments. I mean, how cool is that? The whole point of the day was to introduce the next generation to a tried and true genre. And that brings us into today's Did You Know? Did you know that in 2016, Mozart sold more CDs than Beyonce? Yeah, you heard that right. Actually, Mozart outsold Adele, Drake, and Beyonce, despite that being a Grammy Award-winning year for all three artists. So, how'd he do it? In October 2016, Universal Music Group put out a box set to commemorate the 225th anniversary of Mozart's death. Each set contained 200 CDs, which counted as individual sales. Needless to say, they sold like hotcakes. And that's how a classical composer from the 1700s outsold pop's biggest songbirds in the 21st century. School might be out, but class is in session for one boy from Wilton, Connecticut. He's bringing the older adults in his community up to dial speed with a digital class. Guys, he's one heck of a teacher.
At Wilton Commons,
we're going to start in 13 minutes.
Class is almost in session.
You guys got your packets and everything?
Absolutely. These students haven't been in a school setting for decades.
I'm 82 years old.
But this summer, on Tuesday afternoons, they've gathered in the community room to learn from an expert on all things online.
I'm Owen Letner. I am from Wilton, Connecticut, and I'm 11 years old.
Okay, everyone. So first, we're going to go over a week 6 agenda.
The incoming 6th grader has spent part of his summer break donating his time to bridge the gap between seniors and technology.
Does anyone have any questions?
Armed with a microphone and a slideshow, each week covers something different with computers and cyber safety.
Lesson 1.
Owen's teaching method isn't just lecturing.
All right, ladies.
He's also very hands-on.
Everyone, just let's look at the computer here.
You would go there.
He is the most patient young man, smart, gentle with us.
Owen's dad is in class too as a sort of teacher's aide, a position he's more than qualified for.
I'm Sean Letner. I started Letner Technology back in 2003. So when I started the business, I worked out of my house. So when Owen was a little baby, he was just sitting there on my lap and just sort of bounced him. And I think, he just saw, was intrigued by what was going on.
It just thought, what is this? And just got me here.
In 2019, Owen and his dad started Letner Junior Engineers, a way for tech-savvy kids to use their skills for a good cause. Owen collected old computers, wiped out the data, upgraded the operating systems, then donated the equipment.
For people that can't really afford computers.
This year, Lentner Junior Engineers donated computers to Connecticut Housing Partners, which owns and operates affordable senior housing, including Wilton Commons.
I said, what about if we put together some course curriculum and then my son could teach it? Owen really just took, what was an idea and then created, the 40 some odd pages of PowerPoint presentation and started rehearsing it, making videos.
All that prep seems to have paid off.
Oh, you got it.
You look at this little pipsqueak and you go, what? He's just quite an extraordinary young man.
How proud are you of Owen?
Really proud, yeah. I think it's really important for children to have relationships other than with technology. So it's really amazing to see that there's a child that's now taking technology to create relationships that weren't there before.
The feeling of helping out your community, it feels so good.
Especially today,
Jeanette Dressing.
as these seniors graduate.
This has been the best class we have ever done, and the first class, so you guys have been awesome.
Yeah, this kid is definitely going places.